So, welcome to your 3 steps to magnetizing your business bestie, or really, this can be used to magnetize anyone in your life. Like maybe it's a friend that's not in business with you, maybe it's a life partner, maybe it's your house cleaner, who knows? It's the steps can apply to really anyone. And that's what's beautiful about the work of manifestation and magnetization. And in this particular circumstance, we talk about manifesting in a quantum physics style way, where we understand that people and things are made of energy, not just matter. And so that's what we'll be discussing with you today. But just want to start off with some general housekeeping. I don't know a better word than that. It sounds kind of blah to say housekeeping. But just some housekeeping things that we want to share is that first and foremost, while yes, this is being recorded, the recording is only sent to those who have signed up to catch the replays. The majority of those people are in our community. Anybody and everybody who is in a container with us, we always talk about our number one thing is confidentiality. And especially when there is going to be opportunity to connect a little bit deeper with somebody. And so just knowing that their story is not for you to go and share, and any stories that are shared today are meant to stay within this container. So that's really important to us. If confidentiality isn't your thing, then we're probably not your people. So just so you have that heads up now. We do really love when you have your camera on. It shows that you're engaged and you're here and you're active. We understand some people have said like they're driving or they're in transit. But if you are at home, it doesn't matter what you look like, turn your camera on. It's Friday morning, it's a holiday, we're all here. Just sit back, relax, be comfortable. We will ask that people stay on mute until we get you to come off mute. If at any point you want to ask a question, then you can just hop off mute, or you can put it in the chat. Or if you go down to the little reactions button at the bottom of your screen, you'll see there's a button there that says raise hand, and that will pin you to the top of our screen. So then we know you've got a question, and we can answer that right away. And then another important thing is that we ask that you leave the coaching to the coaches. Coaching is, we really want to make sure that people are getting powerful coaching and not opinion giving from other people. And so just want to be mindful of that sometimes opinions can be hurtful or harmful. So we'll just, even as coaches, we don't want to give opinions. We want to just ask some really powerful questions. So I think that's all for housekeeping.
That sounds good to me.
Okay. So we are going to do a little intro of ourselves. We know that a lot of you know us, and we know that there's a lot of people who are registered to catch the replay that have not yet met us yet. And so we're going to start off by doing a little intro of ourselves and how we came together, and then talk about why business besties. Why are we even talking about this? Why is this a conversation worth having on a Friday morning? So if we can get a thumbs up for that, if everybody's good to move forward into that. Okay, excellent.
You can practice your reactions. I'm going to do cone of excitement.
Okay, cone of excitement. Excellent. All right. So my name is Nicole Mcclellan, and I'm a trained leadership coach through CTI. However, I found pretty quickly that status quo leadership coaching wasn't my favorite area to spend time in. My passion, and this is what's really exciting, is we're going to talk to you about how to make a profit off of what you're actually passionate about. My passion is all things mindset and manifestation. And in the last few years, business development and entrepreneurship, and supporting people to really understand how you can take something that you enjoy doing. And if you desire, it's not always, but if you desire to make an income from it, that's my passion. How can we flip your mindset to see that it's available to you? I really enjoy pulling out limiting beliefs. And if the opportunity is there and you're open to it, I would love to show you some limitations you might have so you can move past them and move into just a higher state of consciousness within yourself and what's available within your business. I am a dog mom to 2 dogs, and I have a really great partner that I believe I magnetized into my life. And so I know this process can work in many different areas outside of business. And yeah, I wasn't always a coach. I used to be a teacher. And so I do have a really big passion for creating. I love creating content when it's content that is enjoyable to me. And obviously, I am a huge lover of connection. I love connecting people. That is just very natural to me and easy for me. And so I hope to be able to do that for many of you that are on this call today or who catch the replay. Over to Kayla.
Okay, I'm Kayla. I'm just thinking while you're talking, oh, extensive intro. What shall I say? But here we go. So I did my coach training at Royal Roads and learned about executive coaching, but really what I'm passionate about, similar to Nicole, is how women can have businesses that have great systems that give you the lifestyle that you want. So that's what we talk about every day in My Aligned Purpose. That's how we show up here. And we're really excited to talk to you about that today, and how, just like we always say, you don't want to go all the way to the top and then have no one to be friends with or no one to cheers your champagne with. So how can you do this together in a community with connections with other people who are also in the arena, as Brene Brown would say, and move your passion forward. And yeah, you don't have to monetize every single thing, but the thing that you want to do that's going to be still exciting to wake up to in 5 years, how can we do that and bring in a sustainable amount of income to your life to support your family? Yeah.
And you are also a lover of money.
Yeah, I'm a lover of money. Yeah, I have a background in fundraising and doing corporate and foundation fundraising, research fundraising. And that gave me an insight into how to build a program or a business that has multiple streams of income. And then I've really worked on my personal finance and how to build a life that has multiple streams of income. And I love, if you've been in Manifesting Money Masterclass, or Millionaire Mindset, that I love talking about investing, like getting the basics down and then working on investing, because what's the point in making all this money or trying to make all this money and then it not working for you? To me, that makes no sense. So if we think about this with the end in mind, how do we make a lot of money and have a lot of fun and do a lot of good in the world?
Yeah. And that's what we're really excited about today. So if I would say, maybe if I think about before, pre My Aligned Purpose, before that was birthed. So like Julie, who's here on the screen, was in my life, and Julia, who's here on the screen, was in Kayla's life. And I think before that, or after that, everybody else came into our lives through My Aligned Purpose. But previous to that, if people are like, how did we come together? How did this happen? Julie and Julia, yes. So the way that Kayla and I came together was actually through a third party, a person who knew us both. She saw something in us. She saw that I would be a great coach, that Kayla would be a great coach. And I remember going to meet Kayla briefly for a coffee one day. And I had just left teaching, and Kayla was getting ready to leave fundraising. And we thought, what would be really powerful is if we held one another accountable to actually doing this thing. So this was back in January or February of 2020, pre-pandemic. And we decided, okay, we don't have 9-to-5s at the moment. So why don't we decide every Monday morning, lovers of coffee, let's pour a coffee and let's coach one another and hold one another accountable to trying to make something happen for our businesses, our own separate dream businesses that didn't really quite exist yet. And it was through that accountability of, come hell or high water, we were meeting every Monday, 9 a.m. with our coffee, cheersing and holding one another accountable. And there was no excuses. It wasn't like, well, I'm going to go to a yoga class today, or this isn't really going to work for me. It was like, no, we were committed to this. And that commitment, like, that is the whole backbone or the foundation of what we want to talk to you about today, is true, powerful accountability. And that's what we hope to provide in our community. So through accountability, through coaching one another, we kind of realized like, well, hey, I really like mindset and manifesting, and Kayla really likes money and systems. And 99% of the people we're talking to want to manifest money or manifest things that would cost money. Why don't we do something about this? And because it was aligned, and because we had clear communication and we built trust with one another, and we talked about Nicole's individual vision and Kayla's individual vision, and then realized, hey, we have lots of shared similar visions, yet we can still hold space for the very big differences in our lives. And we were able to say, this can work if we really want it to. And
let's just try it.
Let's just try it. If you start to look at everything as an experiment in your life, it really removes the pressure and the expectation. And I learned that from Kayla when she said, you know what? I left my 9 to 5 for a year as an experiment. If it didn't work out, she's employable. We're all employable. We're all educated, intelligent, awesome human beings. We can get jobs. We can make it work. But what if you just experiment and say, I'm going to step away from this for a year, or I'm going to step into this for a year. So we really encourage the energy of the word experiment has a lot more permission to it than if I do this and fail, then I'm screwed. Well, that doesn't feel very good. So we want you to lean into the permission to experiment a little bit in your life and in your partnerships.
Yeah, I agree. It's all about experimenting. That's the new mindset that we need to go into this with.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are going to talk a little bit about what we're getting into today. But before that, we want to share that some really like cool things that we've seen from accountability, from connection, from magnetizing people into their lives from our community in the past few years. And we just want to share a little bit about that with you. So for example, in our community, the collective, we have seen, and I know a lot of you here and people who watch the replay have seen Maddie, who's in our group, who is a counselor, and Mel, who is in our group, who is really open and loves talking about her experience with grief. They had never met before. They met inside of the collective, and they built out a whole program together that they delivered all about working through grief. They had both lost really important people in their lives, and it was through our community that they were able to build the trust with one another. And they were able to acknowledge their own personal work that they've done, and they created a shared vision, and they came together. And so we were able to attend their workshop, which was so beautiful, and they've got more coming in the works. And then when we think about, we ran a platinum cohort in 2021, and 4 women from that platinum cohort moved forward into platinum 2022. And those 4 women,
that's our year-long coaching container.
Yeah, that's our year-long coaching container. Those 4 women call themselves the OGs, and they've got a group chat. They'd never met. Most of the, I don't know, besides 2 of them who live in the same sort of area, the 4 of them have never met in real life, and they have a group chat together. They're super connected. They all support one another's businesses. And this is amazing because once again, they came together, they do their own work, they trust, they have a shared vision of like, I want to have a business that allows me, my family, my partner to do these things. And so it works. And, you know, when we think about like different people in our community, you know, we've got somebody coming up who's writing a book. Had she have not been in our community, the backing and the support and the community that she has for her book launch may not have come from us. She may have magnetized it in another area of her life. But if we think about Rhonda, who's in our community launching her book next weekend, she has got a gigantic cheer squad from showing up and being open in our community and saying what she needs, how we can support her, and people genuinely learn to like know, love, trust her. And so then once again, that magnetism is there of like, of course I want to show up to Rhonda's book launch.
Okay, so Rhonda sent us her pre-sale or her like PDF of her book to read. And I had it on the coffee table. Scott's like, oh, what's Rhonda's book about? My husband. And then so we were talking about it. And then he said, oh, that's fun. I want to see the recipes because there's some recipes throughout. And then yesterday I got my tea tasters. I'm part of her tea membership. I got my tea tasters package in the mail. And Scott's like, Rhonda's package is here for you. Like, this is the level of launching things in accountability. If Scott knows, what's going on, then we're all in it together.
100%.
Yeah. Can we hear from you, from everyone who's here, if you feel like you want to come off mute and say it, or if you just want to put it in the chat? Are you looking to strengthen your relationship with a business partner you already have? Are you looking for an accountability buddy who's like showing up at 9 a.m. on Monday, come hell or high water kind of thing? Or are you just here to do the personal work, like open to whatever comes up? Yeah.
I know somebody who's not on the call who's looking to magnetize a life partner. And I was like, yes, this will absolutely apply.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's all available. So let us know. You can hop off mute or share in the comments.
We could have framed it like that, but we're not matchmakers. So we're like, oh, we probably shouldn't tell everyone that that's what's going on. Yeah. Okay.
I'll talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a business partner right now. I'm in the very early like stages of trying to get things up and running, but I definitely like an accountability partner and like a brainstorming partner. Right now I get these ideas and I'm like, that stupid idea? I don't know. I've only got myself to talk to in my head. Like,
yes.
Who can I bounce this off? Who can I brainstorm with? That kind of thing would be lovely to have.
Okay, I love that.
I'm going to jot these down. Brainstorming partner. Okay, love that. Thanks, Eileen.
We'll turn our magnets on and then your magnets on, and then where all the magnets are working together. Yes, Georgia?
Yeah, Georgia, hop on.
Hi everyone.
Where are you going?
I am going on a couple of places. I'm going to go meet a friend who's an expressive arts facilitator and have a kind of brainstorming session. So it's very timely.
Okay.
I feel like I've done some great work on magnetizing my people to brainstorm with and learn from and have kind of mentorship of each other. But I've started a storyteller circle. We're going to meet every Monday at 9:30. We've already had every other Monday. And we've already had a couple of great sessions. But I'm looking to understand how we can like deepen our accountability for one another, because we are at different stages of our careers and transitions away from 9 to 5. Several of them have made the leap, several are halfway. And so we have this group. It has like some awesome people already together. I feel like I've magnetized them, but I want to know how we can deepen the accountability that we are providing for one another in that container.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. I think that's an important piece too, because there's a different energy to, hey, I'm doing this today, like my accountability. Yeah, I'm going to coach Shane. I'm going to do a podcast. I'm going to create. To, hi, I'm having a really challenging week and I feel like I'm dropping some balls. Can you check in on me in 48 hours to make sure that I'm saying what I'm doing? Doing what I said I'm going to do. Like that deeper level of where we can show up and say, this is where I'm not at my best self, or I would really love the stretching, right? Coaching is a lot about stretching and supporting. And so, yeah, that deeper level of accountability, I like that you said that, Georgia.
Alex says starting business bestie relationship and need an accountability buddy. And we'll send out the slides after this, and they have journal questions or questions to have in discussion with a business bestie and things to explore about yourself and your partnership. So that hopefully that is helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lena?
I think I want to learn more about like what it truly means to have an accountability buddy, because, I've like had that in, let's say, my fitness life, health and wellness. And I just don't know that I actually know what it means to truly do that, because I can say like, oh, hey, check in with you every day, but I still find myself like falling back into those same patterns where I'm like, well, I'll just do a walk today instead of my workout and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, I'm really interested in that for my business as well, because I do think there's a lot of value to having somebody to bounce ideas off. And I love how you guys started, just with your Monday coffees and what it's evolved into is so amazing. And then I always wonder, like, is there too much like manifesting happening? Because I also want to manifest a life partner, and I'm not like ready this moment, but I know like I'm currently doing what I deem is like the work to get there in terms of, overcoming all my trauma and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so I want it all.
I mean, I'm a big believer, and there's no such thing as, am I manifesting too much? The opposite way of saying that is, should I cap myself somewhere? Should I say, oh, I don't deserve this? That's not a reality that you have to create for yourself. And actually, we're going to talk about this actually, I'll just say this and then we can come back to where are people needing support. But why are we saying magnetize, like 3 steps to magnetize your business bestie? Because we, Kayla and I, and this might not be your belief system yet, but our belief system is everything and everyone is energy. So it's a very different, maybe when you're in grade 11 physics, you were taught that everything was made of atoms and that everything is matter, like dense matter. And while yes, we are matter, on a deeper level, we are energy. And so when our energy carries a frequency. So I can say frequency, magnetism, vibration. When we are magnetizing at a higher frequency, it's like, that's where it's like, oh my gosh, the job, the money, the partner, the trees, the sun, like, it's all so exciting. And when we're down here and it's like deep and it's dark and it's low, people get worried of like, am I going to manifest more of this? And that's a valid, I've definitely been there too, like your mind can take over. But I want you to know that on an energetic level, it's not possible. It's not possible to manifest more from a lower vibration, because it's like you have no magnet. It's like you can't attract anything. So until you say, okay, I need to move up my frequency, move up my energy, my vibration, as you do that, as you move from fear, guilt, shame, and you move up to like maybe overwhelm, or maybe judgment, like those actually they don't sound that great, but those are higher frequencies than shame and fear. So as you say, okay, I'm not in a fearful place anymore, but I'm still a little bit like overwhelmed. From an overwhelmed place, you can start to get into a higher magnetism, and then you go higher, and then you get to joy, love, gratitude, abundance. And from joy, love, gratitude, abundance, the highest frequency that you can vibrate at, you can manifest the partner, the job, the vacation, the everything, the sun to come out. It's like, it's all available from that place. Can we see that I love the sun? It is my life force.
Nicole's manifesting the sun to come out on April 23rd as she heads to Mexico.
100%. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, Bree, do you want to come on?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, Nick, because I actually last night just started reading Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And he talked about how an atom is like 99.99999% energy and 0.000001 matter. So we're actually more nothing than something, as he says, right?
He does.
And that was just like an aha for me. Like, it was like, oh my gosh, that is so true. We are pretty much just energy. Yeah, so you saying that just like put that all together. For me, I'm wanting to strengthen my bestie relationship with the 2 girls that I'm in business with together. So I'd love to do that. And I'm also very open to magnetizing someone that's not in business with me, that whether it's like accountability or can bounce ideas off of, or someone else that I can connect with that isn't in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's awesome. So like the polarity.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so magnetize polarity. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Bree. When I think of Dr. Joe Dispenza saying that, I think of his meditations, and he's like, you are no time and no space. You are nothing. And it's like, but if you say that I'm nothing, so then I feel like something, right? It's a really deep drop to be like, okay, I am no thing in no time, in no space, in no place. But it's true, because we are energy. Anybody else looking to magnetize? Yeah, Julia.
Hello.
Hi.
So for me, I think not having a specific business, I've got a bunch of ideas and things bouncing around. So I think on more as well, kind of what some people have been saying, the accountability side, but like the bouncing ideas off of, because I haven't sort of picked a specific direction. There's some stuff that I kind of working on, but then I'm not sure. So I think having that person to set some accountability to kind of actually start making progress and bounce those ideas off for me as well.
Okay, so we're seeing and hearing a need for that. And so we can talk, like Kayla and I do want to talk about like, how can we serve you all to be like, is it within our community that we can support you to have these people? And so we will get into that throughout our time today. Something that I would love for you all to consider about like, whether, like a few of you have said, the person to bounce ideas off of, or if it is your current business partners. If we use the concepts of Brené Brown, like just really remembering that those people are in the arena with you. And like Bree said, they can be polarity. They don't have to be in the same arena of I'm building a postpartum course. That doesn't have to be it. But they're in the arena of I'm putting myself out there and I want to create something. And if they're not right in the arena, then your accountability buddy gets to be the placeholder of empathy or compassion, those seats. And then she says, if you're up in the nosebleeds, the cheap seats, well, then you can screw off. You don't get to create with me. You don't need somebody who is here to be judgmental or critical of your ideas. That's not actually accountability.
Mm-hmm. For me, the biggest deal for accountability, and I've had this through great workout buddies that I think I learned this from, especially I used to run with this woman named Heather, and we ran together for 5 years. And it did not matter, literally, if it was like sleeting, snow, rain, and we had to run around Stanley Park. She was there with her running shoes on, 5 minutes early with an extra gel. She's like, Kayla, we're going for a run. Like I basically only missed run club one time the whole time I ran with Heather, which is good. I missed it because I met Scott that night, my husband. So that was strange and serendipitous. But Heather was such a good accountability buddy. And then from there, I understood how to create that relationship of like, Nicole and I say, we're going to meet every single Monday morning at 9 and coach. I put it in my calendar. I block it off, tell every single person in my family, this is what's happening, and make it happen. And then the only thing that would stop me is like being in the hospital. Mm-hmm. Like there's nothing else that could stop me from showing up if I say I'm going to be there. And I think that's like holding up my end of the accountability is really important to me. But then having someone at that level of commitment, like that person has to really want it too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And this is the thing that we've seen in people try to start accountability is two people saying like, okay, yes, go into accountability. So let's just say it's Kayla and I, and we are maybe just getting to know one another. And we're like, okay, yeah, I was in this workshop with you. Let's do accountability. And Kayla's self-responsible and I'm not. And I'm like, well, I didn't do the thing because Kayla didn't check in on me. She's supposed to hold me accountable. No, that's not how accountability works. So when we see people be like, well, my accountability buddy didn't check in with me, so I didn't do it. It's like, no, you do the thing and then you check in with your accountability buddy and say, hey, I did the thing. You're holding yourself accountable.
Mm-hmm. And then you have someone there to cheer you on. Okay, Sarah, tell us what you're here for.
Hello. First of all, I'm sorry that I'm on and off camera. I'm getting ready for work right now, but I really wanted to be able to join. So that's why I'm like, it's a little chaotic over here. Now I finally have my coffee and I'm committed to sitting down for the next like 45 minutes until I have to jump in the car. But anyway, that's my disclaimer on that. I'm so happy to be here. In terms of manifesting, I think I'm looking for more clarity. I'm in this kind of place as you like when you were talking earlier about taking that like year off from your corporate job and doing the experimentation. That's like right where I'm at right now. And I even feel like staying in my admin job is like keeping me in a lower vibration. But as I get closer to being ready to move on, I feel like there's more people coming in that like there's opportunities to collaborate with. And so I'm not, it's interesting that that's kind of all happening. It's almost like they're like, here, like, we'll show you the way out, like get out of there. And Sabrina, who's on this call and invited me here today, is one of them. And so, yeah, looking for more clarity on what those relationships look like. And I guess, yeah, more specific on manifesting those opportunities. I think it's all a bit go with the flow right now. But I want to be able to kind of point my energy towards what's most important, and yeah, learn more about that accountability piece as well.
Okay.
Thanks for sharing. And thank you, Sabrina, for inviting somebody that you know and love. We're always like, if we know and love somebody, so we know and love Sabrina, so then by nature, then we know and love you too, Sarah. So thanks for being here, for sharing. I saw that Julie put in the chat, she's open to all the things. Okay. Yeah. Attracting in, magnetizing in, accountability, or just ideas, partnerships in all places. Caitlin, anything on top of mind for you?
Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Yeah, same. I'm just kind of at the very beginning of everything right now. Left my 9 to 5, just getting my business up and going. An accountability buddy for sure is always good. That's probably my main focus right now, is just trying to stay on track with my tasks right now. But I just wanted to come today and listen and learn and manifest the things for sure. Same.
Okay, great. Thanks for sharing, Caitlin. And Kira, I don't know if you're here, if you want to put something in the chat or come off mute, but if there's anything that you want to share before we move forward, then we'd love to hear from you.
Okay. Well, you can pop it in the chat. Yeah.
Okay, so Kayla, do you want to share a screen?
Yes, I do. We are moving into the part of the presentation that is all about you. And we're going to, so we talked about our story and the power of accountability. Now we're going to go into personal work and then talk about the help that you could use, being open to receiving, and then connection. And yes, if you have a journal, okay, you can journal right now if you want to, but we want to have a discussion about it. So we're going to send these questions out and you can do a deeper dive after the call if you want. And let's be open to chatting about this.
Mm-hmm. So, the personal work, Kayla and I don't know if anybody has been following along the podcast series the last 2 weeks where we talked about how we became business besties, but when we came to the conclusion of how did this happen? How did we get here? How did we go from meeting in a coffee shop to, having this very fun and fulfilling, successful business? What was the strategy there? And the first thing that we realized is like, wow, we both had to do and have done a lot of personal work. And so what we mean by that is understanding like what we each value, what our interests are, what are our desires, and then also what are our flaws, what are our challenges, what are we not good at, so that and how can we highlight that in the other person in a loving way? So how can Kayla say to me in a way that doesn't hurt my feelings, pause with all the ideas. I'm like a popcorn machine of ideas. And so how can Kayla communicate that to me in a way that doesn't feel like limiting or crushing to me, but also not too overwhelming for her? Well, we've really done our work on communication, and it's a request. Hey, Nicole, you have so many friggin' ideas. Do you think maybe you could put them in a document somewhere and once a week we could review them? Oh, okay, I could do that. Instead of every 10 minutes spewing voice notes to Kayla, like, we could do this. What about this? And it's like, that's too much for her.
and I do say that I value your ideas because I really like to hear them. It's just a matter of bandwidth of execution.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's about
It's
understanding,
respectful in that way.
yeah, being respectful and creating space for what we both still want to do. So it's like the personal work is huge. And this is what we want to talk to you about to get started. So yeah, let's pop it in the chat. What are some people's top values? What are your top interests and what are your true desires?
We are going to send out our values meditation that Nicole's created so that you can listen to that and explore maybe some stuff that hasn't come up before as you do the meditation. Have your journal nearby, do the meditation, and then you can jot down your notes on that afterwards. Yeah, but if first of all, Nicole, do you want to share your top values?
Yeah. So my top value for sure, always has been as long as I can remember, and I think always will be, is freedom.
Mhm.
And freedom for me means freedom of my time, financial freedom, freedom in my relationships, freedom in my choice, in my voice. Freedom means a lot of things to me. So, for example, while I was a teacher, I had lots and lots of people say, must be nice to get your whole summers off. And being a teacher actually felt very far from freedom to me. I felt like the only time I can take a vacation is summer. I have to work these 5 days a week, like 10, 12, 14, sometimes 16 hours a day. Like if it was close to report cards and change of um, um, moving in from, I can't even think, like when you're in one,
Masters?
yes, semester, when you're one semester to the next, like sometimes my work days would be so far from free.
Mhm.
Going into the same building every day doesn't feel free to me. And this is just me personally. It's like I'm very aware that I'm kind of like a little hummingbird and like to flutter all over the place and being told where to go and what to do. And
Mm.
I could only do that for so long. And so knowing that freedom was my top value, when I committed, because you have to make a decision, when I made the decision, I will grow a business that will work for me. It's going to be scary and I don't know the how yet, but when I made the decision, I will honor my value of freedom. It all started to work out.
Mhm.
So freedom for me, and then connection would be my next one. If I had to say my top two, if I don't feel connected to someone or a place or a thing, it's almost like I can't even fake it. So I have to feel a connection, and I like connecting people. It's very it's like just like what I like to do. If I hear you're interested in this, and in the back of my mind, I know there's this person over here, I remove myself from the situation and think, how could I connect those two people? It doesn't need to be about me. So those would be my top two. What about you?
Okay. I think mine are freedom and connection too. And then generosity is maybe my top value. And that plays out in lots of ways in my life. I would say like advantageously, and also just like everything can also be an issue sometimes. There's lots of values just mean something that you don't want to have to compromise on. And when you do compromise on that, it feels like a boundary has been crossed. It's something that's really important to you and you get to define it. Like I define freedom maybe slightly differently than Nicole, or I play out the freedom in my life slightly differently than Nicole, but we both knew in coaching each other and committing to our accountability that we didn't want to have to be somewhere, ironically, because we chose to be somewhere. But anyway, we don't have to be somewhere in a workplace at 9 a.m. sitting in our seats. Okay, creativity, freedom, integrity. Yeah, freedom is a big theme.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think that is? Why do you think people value and crave freedom? Does anybody, I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. I would love to hear somebody's perspective. I have my own perspective of why people value freedom, but I would love to hear if anybody else has their opinion on it. Growth, community, freedom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nature for you, Julie. think that's a big thing for you too.
Mhm.
Okay, my personal opinion on why all of us women here value freedom, want freedom. Okay, Sabrina says the opposite of freedom is confining and scary and doesn't allow us to truly meet our needs and desires. Yeah, I agree. And I think for so long, we won't get too into it, but for so long, it has been a society run and designed by the patriarchy. And the patriarchy is not designed to set us, women especially, the majority of people, up for freedom. It's not. If we look at over the past century, the patriarchy has set women up to play a particular role in a particular household, in a particular fashion, do these things by this certain age, follow these rules, be a good girl, don't upset everybody, and certainly don't like love what you're absolutely doing. So I think everybody is like, get out of my way. I'm breaking these rules. That doesn't have to exist for me anymore. And I think a lot of men too, like Kayla and I were just talking about this the other day. I said to my dad, like, sorry, Dad, but I'm here to take down the fucking patriarchy. And he was like, hey, listen from a man. I've been ruled by the patriarchy my whole life too. So it's like, it's not just women that
We said Billy McClellan speaks the truth.
Yeah, it's
again.
Not just women, right? It's like lots
it's not
of
working.
Trapped.
It's not working.
It's not working.
Well, it's working for very few.
And so here is to those of you that have anybody watching you, if you have children, if you mentor somebody, if you have nieces, nephews, it is your responsibility to role model what is authentic and true for you. So if you believe in freedom and you have children or nieces or nephews or somebody that is looking up to you, but every day you are going against your value of freedom and walking into a job you hate, what are you telling your children? Because that's what I saw with my parents. I saw my dad go to a job he hated every single day for 36 years because that was the rules. And so 22-year-old version of me thought that's what I had to do. I have to go be a teacher. My dad hated his job for 30 years. I guess I'm going to have to hate mine too. That's not true. So can you show the people who are watching you, they get to grow up and live a life that means something to them?
Yeah. Oh yeah, everybody's got their dad or their uncle or someone like that in their ear telling them not to quit a job.
Yeah, of course.
They want to keep you safe. Yeah. Okay, and then we can talk about, just in the interest of time, we can talk about what are your true interests? What do you love to do? If you could do anything all day. And I think if your answer is sleep right now, you might be a bit burned out. Could be a sign that maybe a little bit more rest in your life would be fantastic. And then from there, you can consider other interests. I've been there when I really wanted to leave my 9 to 5. It's like, what would you do if you could do anything in the world? I'm like, not talk to anyone, go in my room, blackout blinds, eye mask, sleep, leave me alone. And I think that was a point where it's like, okay, I need to recharge. My battery is on 4%. Yeah.
And I saw that you responded to Cameron and said, we're going to send out some resources. And just another thing, for Cameron and for everybody, this always supports me when I'm like, I'm not sure what I want. What don't you want? What you don't want is a very good indicator of what you do want. So like, I do not want to wake up and have to leave my house to go to a physical location to do my work. I don't want to do that. I very much enjoy being in my slippers and floating around my house and getting dog cuddles in between calls and then coming back to my desk. So I know what I don't want. And when you know what you don't want, it will make it very clear what you do want.
In terms of interests, can we hear in the chat what people love to do when you can do whatever you want? Like, go for a grounding walk in nature, for hikes, frolic in the forest forever. And Julie, you're designing a business that supports that. Yeah. And if that's one of your top values and your main interest, then there's so much available when you're clear on that. Okay, Alex, being outside, exercising, socializing together with friends, create and explore, personal development all day. Okay, Bree, we have to talk. We have so many things to talk about forever. We could just talk on and on. But Nicole and I, before coach training, we're like, okay, the theme of the bookcase here is every single self-help book that has ever been written. And we love to read and we love to talk about moving forward and being futuristic and supporting other people to do that too, and listening and connecting and having freedom. It's like, oh, there's a whole path for that. It is, maybe it's, I'm not trying to divert the prenatal course right now to coaching, but you can have a coaching lens on the prenatal course that you're creating that's going to support people to choose their own path.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're doing that, but this is amazing alignment.
I love that. So we see cooking and baking. Yeah, these are things that if they're your interests, like it's like nobody has to pull your hand and drag you to go do these things. There's a time and place to say, if you wanted to turn that into a business, if you wanted to make a profit off of that, has it been done before? Can it be done? And then there's also the opportunity to be the groundbreaker. Like, Richard, is his name, Branson? He's the first person to run the 4-minute mile. And so oftentimes we're like, oh, well, it hasn't been done before, so I can't do it. So you can be the person to do the thing. Richard Branson was like, the way he did it was he visualized it. He saw himself going over the finish line in under 4 minutes, and he saw it and saw it and saw it until he did it. And then afterwards, everybody broke a 4-minute mile. It was like, because it was done, it was doable. So if other people have a cooking business or a baking business, it's been done, you can do it too. And if what you want to do hasn't been done yet, see it in your mind so many times that it's like, it just is. You can't not see it anymore. It's available to you.
The details don't exactly matter on this, but Richard Branson owns Virgin and Roger Bannister cracked the 4-minute mile. Okay. Just in case everyone's like, I think he owns the cell phone company that I paid you every single month. He's also brilliant. And yes, the 4-minute mile, it was not possible before somebody showed everyone that it is.
Yeah. I'm not a detailed person here.
No, I mean, we're both hanging on by a detailed thread. Okay, I love how much connecting with nature there is, connecting with other people, and then everyone's individual special talents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something, and it doesn't have to be external too, like how it affects other people. It can just be what you personally love to do. Like when you were a little kid, what did you love to do the most when you were a little kid? Mine,
Me.
What was yours?
Oh, I said, did you say me to me?
Sure, yeah.
I loved playing any sort of like house or school. You can tell I was raised in a Catholic house because sometimes we like to play church. Anything that I could like play and be the adult in, I loved doing that. Basically being the boss. Like, I want to be the teacher. I'm going to be the mom. I'm the head of the church. I liked those things, and anything that was construction paper and drawing. I was just like, I just like to be creative and have fun and sticker books and stuff.
Sticker books. And have fun.
Yeah.
And use your imagination. There's so many themes. I wanted to be a pioneer when I grew up. And then actually, Julia and we had a butter churning company. We did. So I really lived out my pioneer dreams till I realized that my mom was like, I remember her telling me electricity has been created. I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? You're 6. Okay. So what about electricity? Can we wear the bonnet or what? Okay. Oh, playing dress up.
Who are you? Like you, who am I when I'm at my best being my truest self?
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing, you can look at what everybody else is doing and use it for admiration. Like, wow, I admire what she's doing, or I really like the wording that she has. And this is the thing. If you are being honest about what you like about somebody, like say if we're talking about maybe people on the internet, you're like, oh, every time she does a reel or something, or every time I'm in this person's presence, it's not actually really about what she's saying or the content that you're seeing. It's their energy. There is something very different from me being like, who are you at your best, truest self? And me being like, who are you at your best, truest self? My energy's flat. It's not magnetic. You probably don't want to listen to me talk anymore. You're attracted to people's energies. So who are you at your best self? What is your frequency? How do you magnetize from that place? If you're trying to be anything but yourself, then you know you're being authentic, and then you're not vibrating, and then your magnet isn't as high. So you're only limiting yourself when you're trying to be something other than who you are.
I think we have a lot of magnetizing work to do. I'm so glad that most of us here are in the collective, and we'll be working on that as we work through Rich as Fuck in June. Oh no, in May. And then we haven't talked about our June book publicly yet, but I guess we could just say it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're gonna do Light is the New Black by Rebecca Campbell. Mm-hmm. We're gonna work through it together, and that's a lot about energy. Yeah, it's gonna be excellent follow-up. Okay, so we're gonna look at our flaws a little bit. Talk about, Nicole's gonna run us through the mirror exercise.
Yeah, so when you think about, if we've had people say to us, well, how do I know what my flaws are? Or how can I truly be aware of what my flaws are? And this is, Sabrina would probably know, and maybe can even speak better to it than me. But from work that I've done with counselors, we've talked a lot about like mirroring. And so what I might point out as somebody is like, that's their flaw. I think about my counselor saying, that's your flaw. And they're reflecting it back to you. So everybody and everything is your mirror, is a reflection. So what you're really annoyed or pissed off by or frustrated from is probably something telling you something about yourself, your own flaw. Sabrina, do you want to come off mute? Is there anything I might be missing in that?
No, I think you've nailed it perfectly. I think if anything, just building that self-awareness and giving yourself an opportunity to recognize like, oh, why am I judging this person, or what am I not seeing in myself in this moment, and taking that time to journal or whatever it is you need to do to work through that is huge.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. In the past, I've done a lot of counseling about exes, like, why is he this way? Or why did he treat me this way? Or blah, blah, blah. And it was always like, bring it back to me. I was like, okay, let's look at you. Let's look at what you're doing, what you're saying. So you can start to look at some of the closest people in your life and maybe how they trigger you, annoy you, frustrate you. Okay, so Alex says, I get judgy of people that are relaxing when I'm feeling stressed. How dare they? Yeah. And so if you were to put the mirror on yourself, do you feel like it's like, you're like, I just actually really desire to be that? But it's easier to deflect and say, well, they're the wrong, right? For all of us. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. See that Bree said, I think my biggest flaw is becoming so driven, I forget about the joy of the process. Can also be too serious and not let go and have fun. I'm also a clean freak. It's a problem. Okay, so how could you even just change the energy of, if we say, I'm a clean freak, it's a problem too. I'm a clean freak. And how does that like support? How does that benefit? Who's that serving, right? Even just looking at like, sometimes things, we call them our flaws and maybe they're not even flaws.
Mm-hmm. The opposite is also usually true.
Mm-hmm. If we think about like not letting go enough, not having fun, joy and play and fun are challenging for a lot of adults. To let loose and be silly is really challenging for a lot of people. And so if we look at that being a flaw, what's that from? Where do you think you lost your silliness along the way, or your sense of adventure or play? Because we don't come out of the wombs most of the time. Most babies don't come out being super serious, right? Little babies giggle and they laugh and they're in awe. So where did somewhere along the way, did you have to become really responsible? Did you have to become more grown up than what you needed to be at that time? And then once we have awareness of something, we can offer forgiveness. We don't wait for forgiveness to come from anybody else. Forgiveness is always an inside job. So we're like, okay, you know what? Like maybe if you're in a situation where your parents made you as the oldest sibling, be the babysitter and take on all the responsibilities of the house, and you had to grow up too quick. It might be like, well, I'm mad at my parents for doing that. Okay, well, that will never get you to a place of joy, of play and fun. So can you forgive your parents, and can you forgive yourself for maybe how you had to live in that moment? And then say like, okay, now in this moment, what can I do to invite in more joy, more play?
Thanks, Julie.
Thanks, Julie.
And I think tiny little practices of more fun. Okay, I'm going to put an alarm on my phone and set it to play a song that really hypes me up twice a day. Okay, I'm going to take myself out for coffee, not invite anyone else who expects to be invited, aka my 5-year-old or something like that. I'm going to do the things that fill my cup, just one little tiny things. It doesn't have to be big things. It's just starting the practice of moving forward. And maybe it's not that, maybe it is that you forget. Maybe it's not that you forget. Maybe it's that your bandwidth is decimated because there's just, a lot of focus on the things that feel hard. So what's something that feels easy or fun or brings a little light to the situation? Speaking of light, Bree got us addicted to these Amala candles. So then we had to get more because we used all the little ones. And every time I light this and it smells like Fruit Loops, it makes me feel very, very like, it smells so good. So it makes me feel happy. Then it makes me feel kind of like calm and remember what it's like to be a little kid in the morning and going downstairs to make your own breakfast and watch TV when your parents were sleeping. Like something funny like that. Kind of brings me back to being a little kid. So maybe there's something like that you're thinking of, that this is bringing up, that you can pop into your calendar, as we adults do, if that supports you. We're going to send out the 4 Tendencies quiz by Gretchen Rubin. She has a podcast called Happier, and she wrote the book, The Happier Project, and a whole bunch of other books. And that can help you understand your motivation. And if you are internally or externally motivated, and why you act as opposed to, or like why you act or why you don't, from a personality perspective, instead of saying you're wrong for how you are. How can you work with your tendency to create what you want in your life? So we'll send that out as part of this. And then, has anyone done Strengths Finder by Clifton? No, I think probably some of us have. We'll send out the link. There's a quiz you can do. It's $28. And you get your top 5 strengths, and they give it to you in a report. And I would say it's worth it to understand and the quiz is really accurate. It takes about half an hour to do it, and it's very accurate, and it's worth it to understand what your strengths are and what you're working with. So we'll send that out in the replay. The VIA character strength survey is free and does the same. Okay, we're going to send out the free one. Eileen's going to send us the link, and we're going to make that happen. Okay, fun.
Kayla, what's your top strength in Strengths Finder?
Futuristic.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, so my lens on everything is, what are we doing now? That can be, of course, with everything, it can be a strength and it can be a weakness when I'm not focusing on the great stuff that's happening in the moment. But generally, I enjoy being this way. Is yours connection?
No, mine's intellectualization.
Oh,
Intellectual. Mine is basically summarized as I can read or listen to anything and memorize it for the rest of my life. And I feel like that's very accurate. I read a book and I'm like, oh yeah, I could recite that book, probably word for word afterwards, which is helpful in this business.
Yeah, it is helpful to have a great summarizer. I'm like, do you remember that? Because I just gloss over everything. So it is excellent to combine strengths. Yeah. Okay. So we can share that in the collective with each other. And these are just some things to journal on, to consider moving forward. Okay.
One thing I do want to address, like what Sarah put in the chat and maybe somebody else too, about, because this was definitely a struggle of mine for a long time, was not being able to be present, always futuristic, always thinking about what's next, always dreaming, planning, being imaginative. And that this whole thing anchors in the answer to that, of having an accountability buddy that you also share your wins and celebrations with. So before it was always like getting to the next thing and being like, okay, cool, got here, go to the next thing. Now Kayla and I make it like it's just a thing where we go out and we go out for cocktails, we go out for coffee, we go out, and it's like we're not opening up our work stuff. We are just celebrating. We're celebrating what has happened in our own personal lives, in our business, in our families, and we just go out and it's like, wow, if I could have told myself a year ago that I'd be here now celebrating this, I could have never believed it. So take time to celebrate the little things and the big things. And when you have an accountability buddy, factor that in, celebrate it. Don't
we go for lunch, or whatever, dinner, whatever, once a month. And I have to say, I don't know if we were formally doing this before Scott suggested it, but Scott, my husband, was like, you and Nicole need to go for lunch or dinner or something once a month and just hang out. All you talk about is my life purpose. You should go do something fun with each other, for each other. And that was a great encouragement, great to hear from the outside that would be helpful. I don't know if we came up with that on our own or what he said was also helpful. Okay, I'm getting this link from Eileen to put in the follow-up. Okay, there's tons of quizzes. Oh, that's so exciting. Thank you for sending that. Okay, so we're moving on to the reason why I Get By with Little Help from My Friends playing when you came in. The first time we've ever pulled off a song and a slide at the same time.
Or you might hear in your head, help, I need somebody, help.
Oh, yeah. We were debating which one.
So 2 Beatles songs, both about help. Here we are. It's working for us.
Yeah, we don't usually go back that far because we're more futuristic, but here we are with the Beatles getting help. Okay, so this is a little brainstorming exercise to do. Maybe you know right off the top of your head, maybe you have to do some digging. Maybe it's personal at home, or maybe it's a business help you need. Maybe it's like, if you were doing what you love to do and only what you're excellent at and you love to do lights you up, then where would there be space to bring in other people who can do what they love to do too and work with you? For example, right now, Jessica is upstairs cleaning my house. She loves cleaning. She also has a CSA box, which we subscribe to. Love her, really trust her. She's fabulous. And she said everybody needs someone to help them clean, especially busy people. She trades personal training, because she's also a personal trainer, with someone else to clean her house. She's just making it happen.
And then she's going to leave Kayla's house and come clean my house.
Yeah.
Great thing going on Fridays.
We do. And then we e-transfer her the money and we're like, okay, our houses are clean for the weekend. This is amazing. She's happy. She's living her best life. Actually, she's so happy. We're living our best lives. And here we go. I just texted her. I'm like, I'm on a seminar. Don't come downstairs today. Have fun with the dusting. She's like, okay, I'm on it.
So I would love to share. Kayla and I we are seeking help right now. What's that?
Rhea has a Beatles song tattooed on her arm.
Oh.
What does it say?
So I'm all for this.
How did I not know
It
that?
says, till there was you.
Oh.
Mm.
It was the song my dad made sure that I first heard after I was born. He wouldn't let me hear any other song, and he played this song for me. And this is his writing.
Really? Oh my God, I'm crying now. Okay, that's amazing.
What beautiful.
Okay, where's my emotions tab? Well, you can see it, it's fine. Okay.
Okay, so if we talk about help, if you're really honest about like where could you get some help? Kayla and I were chatting about, we are looking for the Kajabi unicorn. Like, do they exist? We haven't found them yet. But what we know, so here's what we identified as what we need. So we would go through their personal characteristics and traits. So this is the magnetizing part. And if you're talking about a partner, you could say how this person makes you feel. So the characteristics and traits of our Kajabi unicorn person, they are going to make us feel so supported. They are going to make us feel like we've got an all hands on deck mentality joining us. This Kajabi unicorn person gets tasks finished because Kayla and I, that's not our strong suit, so we could admit that. And this person can't be an idea starter. So when they do one of these strengths quizzes or something, we don't need another me. We don't need somebody else popping out more ideas for my line purpose. We need somebody contained with those ideas. We need somebody who is spiritual and into the woo. Kayla and I have interviewed many people and they're like not really on board with manifestation, or they're like not really sure of like what it means to operate from an energetic space. And while there's no judgment, it's not a fit. We need somebody who is in our company that believes we operate from a spiritual lens. That's just important to us. And you don't have to cut yourself short on what's important to you. We need somebody who's a clear communicator. And so for us, that means having somebody that will speak up and say their truth, and actually say what's on their mind. And we need
who tells us what's going on every day.
Yes. Yeah. And we need somebody who is self-responsible. So while this person will tell us what's going on, we don't need somebody who's like, does this look okay? Does this look okay? We need somebody who trusts in their work and hands us the product, the Kajabi product, and moves forward. Because the last thing that we want is to micromanage. That's not the role that we want to step into, is micromanaging. And so maybe that is what you really like to do, is micromanage, but something tells me that's not an energy that anybody likes to operate from. So what does it look like to truly be supported?
Yeah, and that's like, it's part of our strengths or weaknesses or whatever, however you want to frame it, that we are not very detail oriented. We can be in some ways, but generally, like we'll look at the same thing. We're like, oh, it looks so good. And there'll be 3 typos and I don't know, we missed it somehow. So there's nothing, it's just how we are. And we don't even we're like, oh no, went out wrong. Thank you for telling us, Elena, and like quickly so we can fix it. It's just how they're detail oriented. So maybe if they're managing people, they'd want to be more on top of all the details. That's just not how we are. So we need someone who is on top of details.
Yeah,
so and the self-work that goes with how you need help.
Mm-hmm. And so asking for help means admitting you need help, right? Asking for help means admitting what you're not good at. It means admitting where you have flaws. It means admitting what your challenges are. And this is, there's somebody here that I was chatting with yesterday, and we were talking about it. It speaks volumes when you as a business owner can remove your ego and say, I'm not the only person who can do this. So Kayla and I, while we are the 2 main and only head coaches for now in My Aligned Purpose, when we want to expand and grow, we can step back and say, you know what, somebody else can step in and be a coach in our company as good as us and probably better. Like, we're not the holy grail of coaches. We do a great job and we love what we do. But if we had that mentality, we would never be able to expand or move forward. So if you're looking to attract somebody or grow your team or scale, you have to remove the ego and understand that it's like, it's your systems and your processes
Oh, yeah.
that are actually really amazing. And you can teach somebody to be like a mini me of you. Here's my system. Here's how we do it this way. But like, if it's only you, you'll be trapped.
Oh, everyone's saying, well, everyone, people are saying asking for help is hard. And Sabrina's saying the limiting belief, it always comes with a condition when you ask for help. Wow, Sabrina, you should let me drive you to the airport. Really
Okay,
figure it out.
so the mic drop on being afraid to ask for help is you're not leaning into your feminine energy, because leaning into your feminine energy is receiving, and receiving would mean accepting help. So we're not all here to be masculine driven business owners. We need masculine energy to get things done, but you need to lean into your feminine. That is the 12th universal law, the law of gender. Can you be balanced in masculine and feminine energy? And that is where that's where the stars align. Can you do, and can you sit back and receive and accept help?
Yeah, and when you're thinking about a limiting belief, maybe you look at the opposite. Like, we're told that if you need help, you're a failure. Okay, and then maybe the opposite of that is if you need help, you're ready to grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh yes, the martyr element. It just goes on and on.
Probably pepper in some codependency. Ah, yes.
Oh yes. Okay.
I love that we can say these things in this container and have a little giggle and smile, and then we're all like, oh yeah, me too. Yeah. And then we're here to work through them, right? Like, the more we speak about it, the more it's like, well, how's being codependent working out for me? Well, I guess not too good. So it might be time to do something more about that, right?
Yeah, maybe some Terry Cole in your future, friends. Okay, so we're going to put you into a breakout room for 5 minutes with one other person and drop these questions, and you can just take up your 2.5 minutes. We're going to time it so that you get a notification when you have to switch to the next person, and practice taking up space and practice building trust with these questions that we're going to put in the chat for you. Nick, do you want to talk a bit about the philosophy behind them?
Yeah, sorry, I was just getting the room set up. Yeah, so the philosophy behind the 3 levels of trust is that they're different levels of intimacy. And so if we just threw you in a room with somebody and said the first question was, what do you worry about the most? That's kind of like, ooh, that's a little bit deep. So we work through questions and a level of intimacy that feel like you're opening up a bit, right? So what's one thing that you have always wanted to learn that feels like fun and exciting to access? So your level of intimacy, your trust, your vulnerability is there, and then you can go a bit deeper. Okay, we've opened up about that. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be? Ooh, we're getting a little bit deeper. The level of intimacy it's going there. And then the third thing is, what do you worry about the most? So we're going deep into the intimacy level in the partnership there of the conversation. And then our bonus question for all of you is, if you could magnetize anyone right now, who is it?
If you have run through your questions in your 2.5 minutes and you need another one.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I'm just finalizing the room here.
I'm gonna cut and paste this. It's gonna be fun. The time will just fly, and then we'll come back and get into a fun Tony Robbins exercise that we futuristic people love, and maybe we'll stretch your mind. Stretch your mind in a different way. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and then pause.
And we'll put the message. So we'd love to hear, how was that for anybody, if you want to be continued. So if anybody wants to pop off mute, we'd love to hear how that little exchange of intimacy, truly, how that went with maybe somebody that you've just met or you don't know on a deeper level.
I will go.
Yeah.
It was good. It was nice to connect with other people and hear what they had to say. And I felt like I'm having an emotional week. So I know like what I worry about right now is so connected, and that like I need to continue this like rapid pace of growth for myself, but also so that I can continue to like model that for my son, who has some other toxic people in his life. And so I feel like this heavy burden of responsibility to, I don't know, like heal all of the things from the past and do it in like this insane pace. And it's heavy and hard. Yeah.
Do you, or did you feel supported by your partner or your group?
I definitely did. They were very lovely. Thank you, ladies.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Sabrina. I'd love to know, Eileen or Alicia, it sounds like maybe there was something juicy happening in there. Anything worth sharing?
We did kind of run through our questions quickly, and then Alicia was asking me about the career change, and so I was chatting about that basically, and I moved from not even knowing what a life coach was a year and a half, 2 years ago, to leaving my job to do it. But yeah, we were just, that's where we were at. It was really good though. It was nice. I was like, we need more time. I want to get to know you more.
No, that was a really short break.
You're both going to be at the retreat, so you can meet in real life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay, Alex.
So there was 3 people in our group.
Mhm.
And my thing that I would want to change about myself was speaking up in groups.
Oh.
And so what I did was I waited, I let everybody else go first, and I hoped that there was a time for me. I had my answers ready, but it didn't work because I had to talk. And so that has actually upset me, but that's okay because I just experienced exactly what I am experiencing. But my biggest worry is about my accountability. Like, I know I could be a good accountability buddy for someone. Like, I just know I would be there. But my worry is showing up for myself. And so like I feel connected to somebody and I want to ask them to be my accountability buddy. But how do you do that?
I think you do just what you just said. You say, hey, listen, I feel like this is going to be hard for me. And I'm scared I'm not going to show up for myself. Do you think you can do that for me? I need a little extra nudge. I need a little extra push to get going here. Don't let me fall off the track. Do you think you can do that for me? And they will most likely say yes.
Okay. And then if they can't, they'll be honest because that's the way we roll right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Yay. Okay.
Alex, I love how even when you're scared, you are sparkling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And yeah, sometimes, we put people in groups and, we put you guys into groups and a few people fell off the call. We were like, oh, some people are just not going to go there. Right.
Okay.
And so it's brave to speak up, and especially to people that maybe you've never met before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The idea with these trust questions is deepening your connection. So we'll send out those slides as we said, and maybe you have someone who you want to start working on that relationship with, and you can use these, or you can use ones that are similar. Like Nicole said, they start from pretty like, yeah, I could share that, to, oh, that's really deep. How deep should I go?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So, all right. And then, so we're trust, why is trust important in a partnership? Trust creates vulnerability, and vulnerability creates trust, and that is a loop. Mm-hmm. And so and vulnerability is synonymous with being courageous. So if you want to be courageous, you've got to be vulnerable. And in order to be vulnerable, you need to feel like you trust the audience, the person that you are being vulnerable with. It's a whole entire loop. So if you want to be a brave woman in business, a brave woman in a friendship, a brave woman in her partnership, got to be vulnerable. And that means we have to be able to trust. Kayla and I talked about trust on the podcast the other day. Kayla and I both kind of start at a level of like 100% trust. and then maybe it drops down. Some people start at 0 and they're like, no, I have no trust in you and you've got to earn it. We start at like, you've got 100% of my trust, and until you do something to take it away, you get to stay at 100. Sometimes go above 100. It's like, I trust you 120%. And then no, I trust you even more, but I do. So maybe even just recognizing, what's your trust level with people? Do you start at 0 and earn up, or do they start at 100 and maybe they knock down?
Mm-hmm.
No right or wrong way. It's just maybe how you operate.
Yeah. So should we talk about creating this shared vision?
Yeah, this is one of my most favorite things ever. And nobody in this group was in our fall 2020 mastermind where we did this. So this exercise is a lifestyle vision exercise that is really fun. Definitely spend time beyond this call doing it on your own. Yeah. And it is, my understanding is that it's developed by Tony Robbins. Maybe he learned it from somebody, but I heard it in his book, Money Master the Game. And which is a 22-hour Audible, by the way, maybe the longest Audible I've ever listened to in my whole entire life. So Tony Robbins, some people love him, some people hate him. I've got a major crush on the man. He's like 63 and I just love
Nicole loves Tony Robbins. Okay.
Okay. Jeff and I spent one Friday night drinking a bottle of wine, watching every Tony Robbins documentary that exists on Netflix and YouTube. I'm like, I can't get enough of this man. And then some people are like, his energy is so intense, and I like intense. Okay, enough about how much I love Tony. Okay. Here is his process, which goes against everything you've ever been taught in school. If you went to public school, private school, if you went to school, this goes against anything you've ever been taught. If you're a teacher, it's like, what? That's not what we teach our kids to do. It's probably not how you were parented. It's probably maybe not how you're parenting yet. So here's something to consider. The whole backwards lifestyle vision is this. You think about, if anything were possible and you could live your very best life, what would that look like on a month-to-month basis? We're not going to map out a year. It's like month to month. So here, we're going to throw out some examples. Some things that are important to me in my best lifestyle is that I get to have a massage every month. I get to have acupuncture every month. I get to have manicure, a pedicure, and a facial. That would be like best life scenario. I like to have my house cleaner twice a week. I like to send my dogs to daycare every Friday. Then it's paying all my bills. I like to have a roof over my head. I like to eat really good food. And then what's really important to me is travel, whether it's like a little staycation or like once a quarter somewhere big. So those are things that are important to me. Now let's pop over and hear some different things from Kayla. What is in your monthly lifestyle best life vision?
I did this last year in June, and I don't know that I've looked at it since then, but it was so eye-opening. It costs $25,000. I had, and yours, when we did it, like when I shared it with you, then you added in some things. I added in some things from yours. So this can be a fun thing to do with a friend or with us or accountability buddy. So it's like my bills are paid. I have a great house with a great yard, mainly for my dog, live for Bowmore, whatever he needs, let's do it. And so that would be a certain amount on a mortgage payment a month. This is like a great example of how we both think about things, actually. Then I want to have a certain amount set aside for my own investing a month and a certain amount set aside for Evie's investment funds a month, my daughter. And then I want to send her to whatever school suits her needs in that moment. For a time, like when I made this up, I was really into this Montessori school in Machosen, but then I have since decided that part of my lifestyle is not driving to Machosen. So I shall readjust. And then what else? I want to be able to have the whole counter time line from Beauty Counter. I want to be able to refresh my wardrobe and work with a stylist. I want to...
You care a lot about good coffee, good wine, good food.
Yeah. Good waffy, good, all those things. Waffy, that's wine and coffee put together. That's like 4 o'clock. And Scott also cares a lot about that. So we already have a massive coffee portion of our monthly spending. So why not? And yeah, basically that's what?
Books.
Oh, books. These are things that I'm already living my best life on that I don't even think about. If there's a book I want to read, I get it. I read it. And I'm so committed to reading that I often take months off of evening TV so that I can get through my stack on the side of my dresser. So books are really entertaining and important to me and a big part of my life. Part of it is just like getting what would make my life easier in the moment. So like if a printer is going to make my life so much easier, being able to get a printer and having the like flexibility and bandwidth and cash in the door to be able to do that. So I added it all up. It was around $25,000.
Mm-hmm. So chauffeur to bring your daughter to Macho.
Yes, actually.
Yes.
Mhm.
A nanny, maybe it's an au pair that you're bringing in. Okay, so this isn't when I just personally feel like, in the words of Amanda Francis, when she says, ew, 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 that's exactly how I feel about people saying realistic. What? Realistic is whatever you make of your reality. So when somebody says that's not realistic, or I need to be realistic, why? Why are you saying that what you want isn't real? It's outside the parameters of what's real. That's you making that up, that it's not available to you.
Mm-hmm.
So we want you to say, in your best life, because it's just a planning, a mapping, a vision, what would you do on a monthly basis? And then add up approximately what that's going to cost. Do you already see how this is backwards from what you would learn in school? In school, it's like learn math, go to university, do the thing, get the job, take out the student loan, be in debt forever, work till you're 65, maybe retire, and then have a life then. We're going a little bit backwards. So we're saying, okay, you know exactly what you love and want in your life. How much does it cost? For some people, it's going to be like 3,000. For some people, it could be 30,000. It's up to you, and there's no judgment on the in between. From you figure out, you list out all the things. You think, how much does it cost a month? Okay, so now you know, well, this is how much money I need to earn a month or a year. Could you have one big contract and you make that amount in a year and you divide it over 12?
I just talked to a coach yesterday and she's like, so I'm an executive coach and I charge $200,000 per client a year. And I'm like listening, I'm like, wow, like her expanded reality on what's possible is like, that's normal for her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just throwing that out there.
Mine and Kayla's coach doesn't coach one-to-one with us. It's only in a container like this. If you do want to coach one-to-one with her, it's $100,000 US a year for 12 hours, 1 hour a month, no in between.
It's only 10 hours. She doesn't work August or December.
Yeah. So we
those
get
boundaries.
half of that. And we come to group calls like this and we get so much value out of her being on a screen and everybody asking their questions. And I love it. So I'm like, okay, this works. I'm happy to be in that container with her. So it's really what's available and out there for you. So you figured out how much does it cost? How much do you need to fulfill that lifestyle? Then you truly say to yourself, what interests do I have? What do I like to do? What's fun and enjoyable to me? Right? So then you go back a few slides where we've been, what do you actually like to do? And if you get caught up in let's take the baking. Well, I like to bake, but my lifestyle is $300,000 a year. How do I make that happen? It's like the how, what plus why equals how. What do you want to do? Why do you want to do it? You figure out the how. It's available. Are there people out there who bake or have baked or do something with baking and they are making multi-six figures or seven figures? Yes, absolutely. You could have a show about it. You could write cookbooks. You could have a whole company. Like it's all available. And then maybe you're like, baking isn't what I want to monetize. I do want to make this much money. I actually like to do this other thing. So I'm going to look into that. So you're really
experimenting. Especially in the beginning.
Yes, experimenting, trial and error. So what do you love to do? And then I suppose from there, my own personal opinion, and as somebody who has multiple degrees, I don't think that your next thing is you need to go to university. So I think that the system has it all wrong. And who can agree? So I, as a teacher, had to go to university for 6 years. I could have learned to be the best teacher that I was by doing a year practicum with a teacher. Throw me in the classroom, show me how you're doing it. 6 years of like studying World War II to go teach grade 7 history. I don't know. I think I could have done something better with my time and money. So, you know, Bree, you're a nurse. Do you feel like you need to go to university for 4 years to learn what you learn? Or do you think you could have went into the operating room with a head nurse, watched what she did, read some textbooks and learn maybe a little bit more?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like I learned nothing in school. It was once I was in the clinical setting.
Yes. Okay. So I think we can all kind of agree that once again, school is a system is the patriarchy, blah, blah, blah. We're spewing that, because that's just what it is. But we get to change it. So now you learn from somebody who has done it or who can do it or who can show you the way.
Mm-hmm.
So for a lot of you, you have worked with us, or you're in the collective, or you're in platinum, or whatever, like floats your boat. Like pretty much everybody is in our community here already. And this is what we want to say to you. We want to offer to you that we might not know your particular niche business, but we know how to grow a business. We have methods, step-by-step modules, methods of this is how you do it. And so we want to invite you to be curious, talk to us about what you want to do, what's the lifestyle vision that you have, how much money do you need to make, what's the plan, what's the dream, how do you want to make it happen? And then we do want to invite you that if you're open and you're curious to come pursue that in drum roll, Aligned Business School.
Yeah. Yeah, we've designed it's an 8-week program right now with a mindset retreat. So it's really like 9 weeks of content right now. And that is going to be supporting everyone who's in it to go from passion to profit using mindset and the method that we have put together over the last, well, 2 years in this business, but I would say the combination of our own experience, I've had businesses since I was 19, the systems in fundraising and putting together different situations for money, and then the mindset of leaning into what you actually want to spend your time doing.
Mm-hmm. And so what we're doing with this is like, what we're hearing is that people are like, I want a step-by-step plan. Just tell me what to do step by step. So that's what we did. We made it step by step. You're going to do this, check the box. Then you're going to do this, check the box. You're going to do this, check the box. For those of you that are in platinum, it's open to you. We invite you to come dive deep into your learning in this. Take what you're getting over a year in condensed frame. And for everybody who's not in platinum, we're calling this mini platinum. This is a lot of our systems and our soul that we deliver in platinum in a condensed short amount of time in a community setting like this.
It's going to be really fun. We're so excited. Starts the mindset retreat is June 4th, and then we start that Saturday, and then we start on the 7th, the Tuesday, and every week we're meeting on Tuesdays to do Q&As and talk about the method and how you're implementing it. And then we give you a week with each week's content and then come back together again. Yeah. Can I hear, well, if anyone has any questions, you can ask. And then also, can I hear something that maybe came up for you when we were talking about what you'd want to incorporate into your monthly spending that just seems completely insane?
Like outrageous?
Or like you haven't seen it before. It's just like what, like when Eileen said a chauffeur. I actually know someone who has a chauffeur to take their kid to school. It's like not that off the chart. It is actually, I have seen it in practice.
You can pop off mute. We can dial this.
That would be great. I'm going to put the link to Aligned Business School.
I don't think mine's that ridiculous, but like I definitely need a house cleaner at some point when I move. That's on the list. But I really would like to buy myself
oh, here she comes.
2 pairs of Aligns from Lululemon every month, because I just I trash them so much. but also they're the best, like softest, most comfortable pants that I wear, even with clients. Like I queued it up with a lovely sweater and some jewelry. And so in order to keep them like fresh looking, I just need to buy new pairs every month. And that seems very like not frugal and what's the word I'm looking for? Just like, oh.
I think people make synonymous with not frugal as frivolous.
Frivolous, yes. But also like not very humble. Like, does somebody really need 24 new pairs of leggings a year? Like, why do I need to care about what other people think?
Yeah. And once again, this is about like, where is that coming from? Where is the like, do I need this? Do we think that like the status quo, like middle-aged white man is thinking about like, should I buy myself a new suit every month? Will other people judge me? Is that too frivolous? No, he's not thinking that.
No, I think it comes deeper from like, there's so many other people in the world who don't have a lot of things, like including food, which was me growing up. And so feeling like that's just a little excessive.
Okay. And excellent. I love that you said this. Are you reading this with us next month?
Oh, I sure am. I'm excited.
Okay. Amanda Francis says right in here, you cannot become poor enough to help the poorest person become rich. So what you can do, if aligned pants are making you feel amazing and you're showing up and you're doing your work, you are helping people in counseling and you're feeling damn good about it and you're getting more clients and you're doing better work. So if we sit back and say, well, you know what, I think I'll just become poor so I can help poor people feel better about themselves. It's not true. Go make money and feed some poor people. Go make money and volunteer at a homeless shelter because you can take some time off. We can do
take some clients that aren't paying you that need support from an organization.
Which I do. I have one free client and one sliding scale client already.
Oh, yes, excellent. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I think that's a great reminder of like, when she said that, I was like, yeah, right.
Yes.
Can you start with something that like maybe that seems outrageous to you? Can you start with something that's like middle of the road? Does that feel good?
I mean, I could
one
like
pair
pants a month.
How would one pair feel?
Like one a quarter.
Oh,
we're
getting more and more realistic, and I'm just not into that.
Yeah, no, I like the one a month seems realistic.
Yeah.
Fine, just try it, get one, be in gratitude, feel how good they feel when they're brand new. They look sharp.
They do, they look so good.
I can give you a hot tip. People on Marketplace love Lululemon. So even if you feel used and worn out to you, you can donate a pair every time you get a pair. So your oldest pair, put them on Marketplace for like $25. Now you're getting 25% off your new pair, or give them away to somebody who may need them. And then it's like a good energetic exchange of like, okay, this person's getting those, and now I can go get a pair that makes me feel good.
Yes, I like that. I do. I love to donate my stuff more than the Marketplace, mostly because Marketplace causes me like stress and anxiety, and I just don't need that. So I'm like,
okay. And ask your accountant if there's any way you can write them off. I don't know. Ask your accountant. It's possible.
I plan to. That's a great
idea.
Okay,
great. Okay.
Like work wardrobe. Yes.
I don't know. Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Okay. Eileen says a monthly city break, weekend in a city I've never explored before. Ooh, I love that. That speaks to my adventurous heart. Yeah. So, how do we make that happen? I was coaching somebody yesterday, and this speaks to those of you who are like, I just want to keep getting there and I don't recognize when I'm here. I said, you could have all the money in the bank account. Everything's covered. Absolutely. What do you want to do? And she said, travel. I was like, oh, okay, well then let's talk about your next year. What does that look like? And she's like, well, this month I'm here. Next month I'm going there. I have a retreat here. I'm doing this there. I'm like, kind of sounds like the universe is giving you lots of travel. And she's like, I haven't even thought about it. So it's like recognizing how some of these things are already in your life right now. Celebrate it and then ask for more. It's like, it's like, hi universe. Yeah, thanks all those trips that you have lined up for me. Really grateful. Okay, I would appreciate some more. Okay, thanks. Bye. Yeah.
Okay. And then Alex wants a personal chef.
Kelsey, too bad she didn't live here. Kelsey is a personal chef.
What's so outrageous about a personal chef? Oh, I see the look on your face, but you're still muted.
Like,
Okay.
well, I can cook, I can shop. Just seems like frivolous. Oh, that's what.
Okay.
Can you all be okay wanting what you want? Is it safe to want what you want? Are you allowed to want what you want? Nobody gets hurt when you want what you want.
Mhm.
Risky.
Maybe it's not a
Like
personal
a
chef.
little bit in conflict with your value systems.
Oh, is it?
Maybe.
And maybe it's a good reflection, a good time to say, have I looked at my values lately? Our values can change in different seasons of life.
But that's the struggle, right? It creates that like cognitive dissonance where you're like, oh, wait, I have this like new belief or this new value, but it's very much in contrast with the old one. And now I have to somehow like deal with that mental distress to fully accept the new value. Like Alex and her chef.
Yeah. And it's like Bree's reading Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. It's like, oh, this new value means we can't have one foot in who we used to be and one foot in who we want to be. It's like, got to just both feet. I'm diving in. These are my values today. And that's who I was yesterday. And she doesn't feel quite aligned anymore. So I can be okay that that's not who I am today anymore. Yeah. And support the closing of the cognitive dissonance. And with Alex, maybe it's not like, if we talk about what doesn't feel so far away, so maybe it's not a personal chef, but maybe it's like, you know what, I get some meal prep to help me out with 5 lunches a week.
Can't even.
You can't?
No, I think that what a waste of money that somebody else could use for, like, if I have that much money that I can put it on instead of making my own food, why am I not giving that money to somebody who doesn't have food? I know that's exactly what you just said. And I can't believe I'm spouting that because I understand that if I give to me, I give to, it's everything.
Can I offer something?
Yes.
If Kelsey was on this call right now, it'd be like, if everybody had that belief of, if I had enough money to hire a meal prep service, but I think somebody else deserves that, how would the Kelseys of the world have a business? Does her business not deserve to have clients?
Yeah, but there's other people that will do that. There's not all the people that will look after the other ones that don't have food.
Is that a story you're making up?
I'm pretty sure it's true.
Oh,
it's a story. Oh goodness. Okay.
Is that true? Is there a group of people that nobody is paying attention to? Or can you do both? Can you support this pocket of people over here and this person over here?
Totally.
I would say like this person over here and this person over here being like yourself, putting yourself, even though it's uncomfortable, practicing a little bit and a little bit and a little bit, putting yourself first sometimes, because that's what you want and your desires are safe and okay. And then also continuing to be your sparkly self with others.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. We'll work on that.
Okay. Oh my God, you're so funny.
So, as we start to wrap up today, if there's any questions, Kayla and I are going to brainstorm about how to answer and come up with some solutions for what some of you had shared at the beginning. So I jotted them down. So what we heard at the beginning in regards to accountability is looking for a brainstorming partner. Heard that a few times. How to deepen your accountability. What does accountability truly mean? How can I get clarity? How can I get clarity in accountability? And how can I magnetize the polarity of what I want and where I'm at, of who that person is? So we're going to think about that and come up with something to deliver all of you who were here today and spoke up and participated and shared. And we want to say thank you so much. like all of you are such a core crew in our community anyway, and we appreciate you. And it's been, I'm not a big lover of working on Fridays. And I was like, I would love to show up and talk about this stuff on a Friday morning. That feels good to me. That feels aligned. And I trust that everybody's going to walk away today learning at least a little something new about yourself and maybe something new about a new friend in your community.
Maybe before we go, you can just put in the chat, what's your aha or your takeaway, or what are you doing to follow up from this? Maybe Alex is just getting one meal prep ever. Hi, Fresh Prep, can you just drop off one lunch? I just need to try this.
Maybe what we can do is we'll end the recording here,
Yeah.
and then all of us can have a little chat.